We do not know why we are here. We do not know who built the silo. We do not know why everything outside the silo is as it is.
It's official. The second season of Silo has just completed filming. According to the author, this second season that has just completed filming is one of the best things that he has ever seen. If I would take his word for it, and I'm very inclined to, because, well, he wrote the books, so he has a vision of what the perfect TV adaptation of his books would look like. And he is coming out to say that this is one of the best things that he's ever seen, so I'm heavily going to take his word for it, and that is going to be pure TV magic. Guys, do you know how crazy it would be to improve on that first season? That first season was a bomb. I mean it in a good way, obviously. That first season was amazing. It's one of the very original, refreshing science fiction series on TV right now. Just imagine Fallout without all the mutated creatures and colours. Just imagine a post-apocalyptic world that actually has a lot of drama to it. That is what Silo is. So without much ado, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys the top 5 things that I want to see in the second season. Obviously, he hasn't dropped any spoilers yet for this coming second season, but as someone that has watched this first season and is left with a lot of questions, I want to let you know the top 5 things that I want to see in season 2 of Silo. Firstly, guys, how many silos are there? So we see that at the end of season 1, Bernard is rushing frantically to the server room, and the keys that he uses to open that server room has a keychain with the number 18, as well as the door of the server room that shows that number. We can sort of try to assume that they are in silo number 18. So is it 18 of 1000? My goodness, that would be fascinating, knowing that all the silos are sort of preaching and indoctrinating their community that, you know, they are the only survivors. If you remember their popular quote,
and thereby be reminded that here is safe, and there is not.
Yes, that quote. Anyway, what I would really like to know is if anyone has a clue of how many silos that there actually are in the world, you know, according to the show, should put that down in the comments or just make a guess. Hopefully we get to find out how many silos that there are in the show by the end of the second season. Moving on, I want to see how Juliet makes her comeback, because I definitely know that this is not her last stint with Bernard. I know that she's going to come back and have another power struggle with Bernard. This is definitely not the end. So does she come back straight into Silo 18 where she's just been kicked out, or does she come back through another silo? I think that would be very interesting to find out. This leads me to my next question, which would be whether or not all the silos are connected. And hear me out on this one. We know that Juliet would make a comeback to Silo 18 because she has unresolved issues to settle with Bernard, but based on their already established rules of, oh, if you go out to clean, you cannot come back. Any spoken request to leave the silo is granted, but it is irrevocable. We're not going to let you in. We know that about the show. We know that they are not just going to open their hands and say, oh, Juliet, this is a warm hug for rebelling against us. So are the other silos actually interconnected with the one that we have started in? I think that would be yes, but I'd like to see how it plays out in the second season of Silo, because it's also important that Juliet has probably just enough oxygen to probably just make it to the nearest silo where she can actually, well, be sneaking in. Now, the third question that I have, or the third thing that I want to see in this coming season of Silo, would be an entirely different silo, because I think that this coming season would be focused on a different silo than the one we have seen. It's going to focus a lot on Juliet and how she builds up to whatever activities that she would be up to. So it's going to be focused on her getting into a new silo, discovering what is similar and what is different with her silo that she's coming from. Discovering that they've been lied to, that there are no other survivors. They've been lied to that they are the only survivors. I mean, it would be fascinating to actually see the reaction of people in other silos to someone coming from outside. Now, are they going to welcome her as a proof that the outside world is habitable? Or will they welcome her as a superhuman being? I mean, it's just fascinating. I want to see how that is going to play out in this coming season. Right, let me just say a quick word about Sims, because I love Detective Sims. You know, the way he played the role. Initially, he's a very unlikable character. His personality comes off as too forceful and as someone that is quite selfish. So looking at the way he grew into the role, looking at his ignorance to some inner workings of the silo, even knowing that there are some things that Bernard knows that he has no clue about, I can't wait to see how his character sort of develops in this coming season. I think that they could probably just kill him off. I don't know, but it seems likely because they've sort of almost completed his redemption arc from a very rigid and uncaring personality to someone who deeply cares for his wife and kid and wants them to survive in the silo and wants to grab power for a bit personal and selfish reasons. So they've redeemed him in some way in that first season. Now, I want to see what the second season would do with his character, especially with the realization that he doesn't even know half of what is going on in the silo. So I can't wait for that to happen. Finally, one thing I would like to see in the second season would be the origin of the silos. You hear that their mantra,
"We do not know why we are here. We do not know who built the silos."
I'm not sure the direction that the second season is going to take. Whether it's going to take us back to the time before the silos were built, or when the silos were being built, or when the world was being destroyed, or it's just going to follow to us about Juliet surviving being on the outside. I think it will be a mixture of both, but I want to see the men that built the silos. I want to see what they put in the basement of the silos, how long they felt that the silos would be able to sustain people before they descend into a complete chaos. I want to see more and know more about how they got there in the first place, so I hope that this coming season would do justice to that bit. So that's it. These are the things that I want to see in this coming second season of Silo, and I hope that these are some of the questions that you want answered too. If you have other things that you are hoping to see, leave a comment below and then tell me what you enjoyed about the first season and what you're hoping to see in the second season.